Hello everyone, we have just been to see a movie, and using a food group, I will try and demonstrate what we have just seen. Guys, can you guess what it is, even though you went and saw it with me?
Oh, Sesame seed bagel.
That's right, we saw the Sesame seed bagel, aka Kingsman the Golden Circle. It was okay.
I liked it.
It was okay.
Yeah, that's
it
too
put
okay.
the O, like the golden circle, in okay.
Yeah, it's like
The K is the Kingsman sign, and the O is the golden circle.
I like that. That's good. That's very good. I mean, this is the thing. It was better than average, but it wasn't as good as the first one. So we're going to have a little review / discussion / chat about it. So let's start off with talking about the story. I thought that this was a very weak story.
I thought that, unlike Darren Aronofsky's turd mother,
Yes.
this actually did raise some quite interesting talking points. It made some very, weirdly interesting social commentary on drug use.
I do just want to say, I thought you said Darren Aronofsky's turd mother, as in his mom.
Turd, comma, mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we look shiny, none of the air conditioning is working, and it's so warm.
It's horrendous.
Welcome to my world,
It
lads.
smells. Glad this isn't smell-o-vision, as they say.
YouTube smell coming soon.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the story basically is all of the Kingsmen groups around the UK have been destroyed. They have to team up with the Statesmen, who are their US cousins or brothers in arms. They have to fight against Julianne Moore, who is basically she runs a drug cartel, and she's poisoned her own drug supply to get people to be infected, to die, unless the president signs over and legalizes all drugs and allows her to make it into a taxable
legitimate business.
Which is interesting, because that's actually an opinion that quite a lot of people have out there. Not just for marijuana. There are some people that say you should just legalize all substances and regulate it and have proper clinics set up for heroin. Well, there are clinics for heroin users, but
Method 1.
Yeah.
So that's the story. And to make that story elevate off the page, you need somebody to be a great enemy, for everyone to really rally against and be like, oh, I really don't like this. But Julianne Moore was so monotone, she was milquetoast.
She started off strongly. It was always going to be. It was always going to be a silly, over-the-top, ridiculous film. And it definitely was that. She started off. We're going into spoiler territory now. Turn off if you don't want spoilers.
Honk.
She immediately throws a guy into a mincemeat machine.
Yeah.
Lily Allen's dad.
Keith Allen, Sheriff of Nottingham from BBC Robin Hood.
That was good, wasn't it? Robin. Was it just called Robin or Hood?
It might have been called Robin of Sherwood.
I don't know, I'm just going to wipe my brow again. God damn, it's hot. She started off strongly like that, and then she was a little bit empathetic in that she was a bad guy who wasn't making a ridiculous demand like, I'm going to give me $10 bajillion or I will kill everyone. Her main motivation was, I want to be taken seriously as a businesswoman no one's ever heard of.
I'm making loads of money, but I just can't go shouting about it because it's all from drugs.
But then again, we also have the other side of it where it's like, we hear a story of two meth heads having a shootout, but she is on the side of, let's legalize meth. Let's let the meth heads just shoot it out, rob everyone, and get all the heroin on the streets. That's what she's saying.
Her argument is that if you had more control over meth, then there wouldn't be gangland drug dealing, and there wouldn't be people might be able to go to just a nice little room.
Spending so they could divert the funds elsewhere. It would probably work. Is what I think anyway.
It would be a strange time, an interesting time. So you had people on one side saying that no, all drugs are bad, like the president. He was saying let them all die, so we wipe out the war. We win the war on drugs straight away. And she's on the other side saying legalize everything. I think that both sides have valid points, but it's definitely a case of balance and moderation.
Well,
and that's coming from me.
I want to come in here while we're talking about the story, and we're on the subject of the president saying let's win the war on drugs by killing everyone. This is one of the things where I was like, right, Kingsman, fun, silly, crazy, CGI, men in suits, right? But silly is silly, but silly is silly, and I think you take the piss a little bit sometimes if you go too far. I actually find it a little bit disrespectful to the audience to have a president who is willing, with just two staffers in the room, to say, yeah, let's do it, let's just let everyone die. And I also thought it was kind of silly that they put everyone in cages in a stadium.
That was so dumb.
What was that about?
Yeah, they never explained why a cage was needed to contain
or how
people.
that even would never get out as well.
It's what were they trying to protect them from dancing or something like that? Because that was
helicopters not allowed near.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess they weren't, but equally, that would just get leaked. They must have been doing that at every major stadium in every major city in the States. Some of it was like, look, I'm happy to have an umbrella that you can see through and is bulletproof, but actually I don't want to just be taken for a ride like that by a scriptwriter.
Well, the problem is that this film clearly isn't as good as the first film. Because what it does is this film is exactly the same as the first film. You look at the same tonal beats. It's got the same thing of like, underdog rising up. You've got your main bad guy who's trying to control the world through a social media-y style thing and whatever, or some sort of ultimatum on current social issues. You had your big car chase. You had your big sort of fight sequences. It just felt so similar that I was just like, it's just not. I can't help but compare this directly to the first one. And you had a cringeworthy thing forced in there, like the anal bit in the first one, which let's all agree, it came out of nowhere and was really dumb.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And now this one has somebody getting fingered in Glastonbury.
Yeah,
but
and it's really dumb.
So all the way through, even as soon as that's revealed, is that like, this has to touch a mucous membrane, therefore we're going to have to finger her, right? There's more than one mucous membrane. I know he said, what do you want me to do, stick my finger up her nose? You don't actually have to do that. I'm pretty sure the inside of your mouth counts as a mucous membrane. Yeah. Anyway, even if we entertain the idea that, okay, we're going to have to finger this woman, it immediately just seemed like, okay, this is being done just for laughs, just for a movie moment. Like a movie should be as though you're just a fly on the wall of something that could feasibly happen in a silly CGI universe. But it just seemed like this is something that we've written to entertain the people who are sitting in their chairs right now.
He was so regretful and remorseful throughout, though, that it almost like it wasn't a joke, which then doubled down on.
Weird,
I kind of understand them putting it in for the sake of a tasteless joke, but it wasn't even played for a joke. It was weird.
And the weird thing is that after that happened, you know that line where he just goes, "I lost my girlfriend and it broke me." It's like, no, didn't. Nothing happened. You didn't show any. You literally were just like, "Oh, a bit bummed out. Gotta go save the world now."
I didn't realise they'd broken up. I thought she was just not answering.
No emotional thing there. So it's like it's a very confused story that tried to fit in so many things.
The worst thing about the fingering scene was the fact that they punctuated it with just. It was going down her body slowly as he was about to do it, and I was like, okay, what point is this going to fade to black or cut to the outside of 10? It went all the way down, his finger went inside her pants, and I was like, okay, that's enough now. I'm not a prude, but I just don't.
I get it,
and then it zooms in on towards her pants. I'm like, what is going on?
And you go inside,
and then it's X-ray vision, and you see a little microchip inside her vaginal cavity.
I mean, this is the thing. James Bond, which is obviously this is kind of like a spoof / like adaptation of. He was a cad. He slept with many a woman and did many a weird things, like having sex with a potential rape victim in a shower. Casino Royale, check that out. Yeah. Anyway, but he never fingered a girl and made it into a big thing. It was just like a little peck on the cheek. It would cut away. Like there's tasteful ways to do this.
It wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice or necessary scene, but getting back to sort of the larger picture.
We're kind of focusing on
Kingsman. I always liked because it was the silly, over-the-top answer to the rather po-faced current-day James Bond. Similarly to how, if I can make a parallel to video games, it's kind of like how there's GTA 4, and then Saints Row 3. But then GTA 5 sort of took back some of its silliness, and Saints Row went kind of off the wall a bit too far.
And maybe that's
sort of
where we are now.
It's kind of, although I enjoyed it a lot more than you guys did. I think it's because I've come back to back from watching it, and I'm not good with horror films. And then I watched Mother, which confused and depressed me. And now it was just so nice to turn my head off and just watch this.
Some silly
It was just really enjoyable, apart from the weird fingering.
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that Peter and I did enjoy this film. In fact, let's talk about some of the real positives of it.
Elton John.
No.
MVP Elton John.
I was hoping you were going to lead into this and allow us to actually... No, we're going straight to the divisive thing of the day. So basically, Elton John is in the film. He is held captured by Julianne Moore's...
In the wake of the first film, where they've been taking all the celebrities.
And he's basically on cue to just keep playing songs. And then it turns out, in one scene that made me roll my eyes, and Peter, I think, died a little inside, there's a kung fu fight sequence with Elton John. Now, I'm smiling like I think I like this, but I didn't. I thought he looked at the camera and smiled.
It was that Matrix thing where, what's she called?
It slows down like the bullet time, Trinity.
Trinity, just like... freezes and then kicks the guys.
Oh, it's stupid. It's so stupid. But I thought, Elton John doing kung fu.
No,
This
and
is
he
just,
kept
this is just the best.
literally every other line of dialogue from him had the word "f" in it at least once.
There was so
I
many.
liked it. I liked how furious he was. He'd been kept there for ages, and he's a music legend,
Okay.
and he's just so upset, and he's just telling them all to F off all the time.
Legitimately funny moment was when she's showing the stages of what happens to you with the virus that she's infected people with. And when it goes to stage thing, it's like, and here's a cure. And then he's just like, get the F out of my room. And then this guy's just standing there. And you can tell, like, the extra isn't maybe acting. Like, maybe Elton John was just given some sort of direction. It's like, get out. And he's like,
He
looking
didn't
like,
really know whether to get out or not.
Like, am I actually meant to go? That was very funny.
I'm not saying he was consistently a terrible thing,
no.
but I think more often than not, I felt like I wish he wasn't in this scene right
Or
now.
just done it less. Just in it less.
Yeah.
He saved Colin first.
Yeah, I would have preferred that rather than him like kung fu kicking his way out of the situation.
No, but even that really annoyed me. Like I knew.
I could hear both of you on either side going, oh, how's that?
There's a
I'm
dog.
loving this. This is great.
It's disappointment in stereo.
There's a robot
Just
dog
amazing.
creeping up. Well, not creep. It was about to chomp Colin's head off.
Atrocity.
His little
firth.
His little firths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's sitting on some bowling balls. I thought he was going to reach around and get a strike or something, and like maybe the alarms would go off with it.
And then
for like
what
a 300
happens is
score.
like
Yeah.
This is what happened. Elton John.
Yeah, literally that happened. It was weird. It was
Yeah.
funny, like, but okay. So this is the thing. It trod the line between being silly fun and just being silly a bit too often. Like it was very drunk on that.
If we can
Right.
indeed go back to what you were saying about we do genuinely have
Yeah,
positives
yeah.
for this film, me and Jules. I think the choreography of the one single take action sequences.
Yeah,
which
because you can
were-
tell when it's CGI, but it's like it looks like someone has sort of made it for their YouTube channel.
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
green screen studio, but it's so ridiculous that you're kind of like, I know what this is. It's not trying to be
You
anything.
can see where all the
other than
cuts
silliness.
are as well.
Yeah.
People like move in front of camera and slightly. Me and Jules also. I don't want to absolutely hammer this film, but we also thought the editing was very, very flimsy.
Really, I loved the scene transitions.
Now the scene
Where it
transit,
was,
yeah,
where, like
setting shots
the
are going
bag
into
of
is
drugs,
fine.
going into the bag of drugs,
The
and then it
whiskey
slowly
bottle.
transformed into like trees as
Yeah,
the
that
helicopter
was-
was
yeah,
going over. I love
that sort of stuff is fine and it's
Yeah.
creative, but I just think that this whole sort of
The actual-
I think the film has a pang of desperation about it. Like it's so afraid that it will lose your attention that it's got to be like, hey, there's something happening. Oh, whoa, wow. It's
Yeah.
just like, okay, calm it down a little bit.
It was actually full of errors in that, like, there'd be bits where two people were talking, and there's one camera looking here at that guy, and one camera looking at me, and between the two shots, our friend Colin was either looking at the guy he was talking to or looking there, and it just kept doing that every time they changed the camera angle. And also, oh god, what were we just talking about? Oh my god! Oh yeah, in the action sequences, the 6-chamber revolvers were being fired
a
off
lot of
like 10
times,
times. I
right?
know everyone says that about action films.
I
and
know.
it's like,
I think honestly, when there's something in a film or a game or whatever media that you're consuming that you're a little bit hesitant about, or something that you see and you think that's a bit stupid, you're then immediately you are looking
Then you
for
look for the
errors.
rest of it,
And
yeah.
it sounds like there are genuine errors, but for me, as someone who was like, I'm just letting this wash
Yeah,
over me and
yeah.
having a fun time, I didn't notice that.
I mean, this thing, I'm glad I watched it. Like, I definitely am glad.
yeah.
Like, and I will
It was
probably
good.
probably rewatch it again, like back to back with the first one. But it's just there were little things like
quality of life touches.
if you were basically gonna do callbacks to the first film, then you need to do it better than the first film. Like that scene in the bar, for example, when the redneck for no reason was just kind of like, well, I think you should get out of here. It's kind of like
You look like a homophobic slur.
It's just kind of like, okay. I thought that was going to be a training mission. I thought that they were just going to be talking, and Colin Firth was going to fight them, and then just basically be like, oh, good one.
So it seemed a bit artificial,
Yeah,
didn't
because
it?
I didn't believe it at all. It seemed like he was dubbed over as well, like with a different person's voice.
Yeah, there was some of that. There was like dubbing errors as well.
Yeah.
Like when it did the transition, like from the weed to the forest, and then zoomed all the way into her little house where she was first introduced. There was a voiceover.
Yeah, it didn't sync up.
And it must have transitioned from CGI zooming into her to the actual like film that they'd taken. And the CGI segment was not in sync with what she was saying.
Do you want to talk about the Statesmen themselves?
Yes, we'll
yes.
Mr. Channing Tatum in a lot of the advert Channing Tatum.
He was pretty much,
gets
isn't
frozen.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah,
and disappears.
for most of the movie.
There was a line in the trailer that just wasn't in the film.
It was
Right.
almost like he was filming Lucky Logan or Logan Lucky
God,
at the same time.
I know what I would have chosen.
Yeah, I mean-
I didn't like Logan Lucky, but
It was just like, he was fine. He was really enjoyable. I wanted to see more of him, and we didn't get that. And I also wanted to see more of who was the Scottish guy who was really, really goddamn well with
Mark
glasses.
Strong.
I don't know what
Mark Strong,
right.
fantastic actor, underutilized in pretty much everything I've seen him in, and then he goddamn well dies in this one, or does he?
Yeah, but I
Or
thought,
does he?
well,
Oh,
I
well,
don't know.
I mean,
I thought it was
pretty-
Probably. I mean, there was a reason they managed to bring Harry back.
I mean, Crossbones
Yeah.
is coming back, isn't he? From
Apparently, yeah.
Sure, that's true. No, I
But
thought
there's
that
an Infinity Gauntlet in there.
I was sad that he died, but to be fair, he died at the end. Like, you got a full film's worth of him.
But it's kind
He
of
had a lot
like
of screen
it's
time.
kind of like, oh, I finally get to be an agent, and
Well,
I'm
true.
dead, and
Literally
I
as soon as he touched
and I
the ground.
don't get any combat field experience. I don't get to kill anyone. I don't have a cool final line. I just get to sing.
He had lots of great moments, though.
He did.
I liked him.
I'm just
yeah.
being really pessimistic about. I like a good death in films, and I just feel like he and the girl at the very beginning were not delivered one, and the dog. Dog could have done with a better send off,
Yeah.
and his mate. I even forgot about him.
Yeah.
Just shows how little the
Yeah,
stakes
his
were.
pal.
Huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, the Statesman. Who was the guy who played Lasso Man? Whiskey.
I can't remember his name, but you will know him
Game-
as the Viper from
Yeah.
Game of Thrones and also
Right, yeah,
one of
yeah.
the agents from Narcos.
I thought he was great. I
No,
think
he's
I
a
thought he
great
was
actor.
Really
He's really
enjoyable. Had a nice kind of character arc. I would say I didn't see the twist coming, but I did see the betrayal twist in the moment we were meant to, if you know what I mean.
I saw it as soon as he was introduced. I instantly thought, I don't trust him.
Right,
And then within
okay.
about 5 minutes, I was like, oh no, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all right.
We're
it's
all right,
fine.
we're all right,
It's
we're
fine.
right.
So that was
Let
good. I like
that
the bait
guard
and
down.
switch there because I did have that feeling to begin with, but they managed to dispel it pretty quickly. So I was taken in until probably about the same time as you when there was something going on.
There was the moment when Father Firth basically was just kind of like, something's off here. And you're like, yeah, there is something off here. What's going on?
I'm glad that happened because I thought that was just going to be used as a plot device for, oh, now we have to go back up the mountain because we accidentally dropped it.
Yeah.
And when I say accidentally dropped it, I punched it out of your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah.
Sorry, I keep just have to bleep all this.
We
It's fine.
also got to see CGI young Colin Firth. That was fun. Really good,
Yeah.
good. CGI
That was
there.
very good. That
Yeah.
was very good.
I mean, the CGI and the special effects in this film were on point. They looked fantastic. The sound design for like the gunfire and things like that, I thought was really cool. Like in terms of an aesthetic film, this is a joy to watch.
I thought maybe just in the opening taxi chase scene, I'm literally in front of a green screen right now. Like,
Yeah.
I spotted little bits.
I could always tell that a great deal of it was green screen, but I think that's again.
But it was
they're
okay.
They're not trying to pretend it's not.
No, of course.
It's kind of part of its over-the-top charm, isn't
Yeah,
it?
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah.
They're flipping all over the place and stuff like that's not achievable by practical
No, of
effects. And
course.
everyone knows that. It's meant to be a comic book.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
So I mean, fight choreography was good. Aesthetically looked nice. Majority was well acted. I'd say that Julianne Moore was the weakest part in it. Disagree with me?
Something
on
I
that?
was going to say earlier, and I've now remembered
Go for
about
it.
her. I guess this is more actually the writing rather than her acting, but her exposition at the beginning was,
Oh, God.
"Oh, it's real tough being the most successful drug dealer ever in the world.
Yeah.
Out in my temple, out in the jungle, in my jungle temple where I deal drugs from. I am a drug dealer. Hello."
I love it because it was like it left nothing for the audience to even think about, because it was like if you were an audience member and she didn't have the exposition as to, for example, why she went for the 1950s, 60s aesthetic, you just think, okay, she's got a bit of a weirdness about her because she clearly loves this time
I
period.
grew up in the 50s.
Then she says that, and you're just kind of like,
Yeah.
well, good. I didn't need to think.
That's established.
Yeah,
There are ways to just drop it into a conversation
Show,
a bit
don't
later
tell.
on. Show, don't tell. They could have had her chopping up a bit of coke in a card. I know she probably doesn't do her own stuff, but you know,
She
No,
could make
just the
she
blue stuff.
some kind of implication
Yeah.
that there are drugs about. Like
Yeah.
maybe behind her they're shipping off some drugs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Just rather than
She's
I
then
deal
established quite strongly though as a villain
Yeah.
by making the guy eat his friend who he just dumped into a mince.
No, that was good.
mincing
I think,
machine.
but I think it's just because Samuel L. Jackson did such a good job as Valentine. That this one was
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. That this was very hard to top, and I think that anyone would be dealt a bad hand. It's almost like
And
trying to follow up on another people presenters
She
leaving.
ended up being completely
Yeah.
toothless as well at the end. I've got 2 robot dogs and 6 guards and a bionic man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's it.
She had, like-
$250 billion
That's true.
last year.
Yeah, that's all
What?
you get.
And they were poorly trained enough guards that Elton John took out 3 of them with a piano.
And then one of them got headbutted by Mark Strong, stood on a landmine, and the
Yeah.
rest went over and like,
Yeah.
listen, he's singing.
Yeah.
He's singing.
we'll just
listen."
approach this slightly. We know there are mines
know there
around
are
here
mines
that are
there.
active right now.
I can just tell that if us 3 were guards we would be doing things very differently. I'd be like, Peter Ben, I'm not even gonna go close to this guy. He seems very dangerous. Should we just shoot him?
Can we shoot him?
Yeah, let's just shoot him.
Yeah,
Can we set to stun at least?
He's got a knife.
Yeah.
He's got a knife. He's clearly dangerous. Let's just pop him. There we go.
Yeah.
End of the film. We would have won.
No, I think it's easier to complain about something than it is to praise it, as shown by the YouTube comment section on a day-to-day basis.
Relevancy.
But I would like to say that overall, I found this visually lovely.
Yeah.
Loved I have a penchant for single take sequences, although they clearly weren't actual single take sequences. But like, I love that kind of thing. And it was the silly CGI fun we wanted, just maybe a bit too silly on occasion.
Yeah, I'd say that's a very fair point. Ben, do you have any closing remarks?
Only what I've already said, in that I had a great deal of fun. There are problems, but if you switch off your mind and just go in it, and just with the aim of having fun, you will enjoy yourself. Apart from
yeah, certainly.
No, I'm not doing that.
No.
Not doing that.
Yeah, I think the best way to say it, to talk about this film is simply, it depends on where you're watching it from, like the mindset. I think if I'd just gone in a slightly different state of mind, then yeah, I probably would have enjoyed it as much as you did. I think it's one of those films where just watch it on like a Friday night with some Dominoes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Other pizza brands are available,
But not as
but
good.
not as tasty. Definitely not.
Please send us pizza.
Yeah, please do actually.
Yeah.
I'll echo what Peter says. Just think that maybe I just held the first one in such high regard that I expected too much from this one. But let us know what you think. Did you think it was the Kingsman? Then let us know in the comments section below.
He became the Kingsman later at the end of the film.
Yeah.
He did.
They should have made a joke about that, shouldn't they?
The golden circle was
yeah.
his wedding ring.
The last scene, he became the Kingsman with a golden circle.
Yeah, he did.
Tidy.
God, how
That's how
about
you
that?
wrap up a story. This is how you wrap
Of
up a
course,
video.
the lady who got fingered had a tramp stamp gold.
Oh, yeah,
gold thing
yeah,
as well. I was like, forgot.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's close this down. He's been confused_dude. He's been at that Peter Austin, and I've been at RetroJ with a 0. And we'll see you soon. Check out the review that I'm probably did earlier. Yes, good closing remark, Jules. Bye.